That's what makes it real. Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming in from, whatever time it might be. Hey, Stella. We are coming to you live today on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube and TikTok. Extraordinary Women Influencers, how are you? We are on IG. I just want to say to everyone, happy holidays. Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, all of that. We are in that holiday season. And how many of you, I want to know, how many of you have finished completely your holiday shopping, your Christmas shopping? You done. You can sit back and relax and you got it done. If you finished your Christmas shopping, say me in the chat. Hey Benjamin, how you doing? Darlinda Brown and all of those folks say hello. If can you hear me? If you can hear me, put a one in the chat. And of course, you're supposed to be letting me know if you finished your holiday shopping. I haven't seen any me's in the chat where people have finished their holiday shopping. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have not, because I believe that's the beauty of the holidays of Christmas. I like to wait till the last minute. I used to, when I was younger, I used to shop during the year, and I would have this Christmas closet. And in my Christmas closet would be all these things that I had brought during the year, most of them on sale or at a resale shop or a garage sale. You know, I'd seen something, pick it up, great price. That's what I would do when I was younger. And it was really cool. I don't do any of that anymore. So what do you all do for your shopping? Okay, so you telling me, look, Dr. Geneva, we didn't come here to talk about shopping or Christmas gifts. Hey, baby sweet, what's going on? Janine Wiley, uh, y'all didn't come for any of that. We're going to talk about being irrelevant, moving forward into the new year. And you can be, you might be, you don't want to be. Okay. And, you know, but I want to talk about ways that perhaps you are and you don't even know it or you're not aware of it. And then we're going to fix it. Okay. We're going to do that. So, those of you on TikTok, please share your live and invite more friends. And is that Cyber Wongrad? Cinebri grad. Hey, on IG, how you doing? Good morning to you, Cinbrew grad. Love it. How are you? I'm so delighted that you joined. Okay, so I want to get into it and talk about um, ways that we can avoid being irrelevant in the new year. And you know, we've got 14 days left until the new year. And so, even though I've been talking with you about this for the past several months, because you know, I like to do that heads up stuff, even though we've been talking about it, you know, it's right around the corner. Now, you might not have been ready for it, but it's right here now. Good morning, Beryl. How you doing? Happy holidays to you. So good to see you. And so glad that you have joined this morning. How things where you are? Oh, goodness. So good to have you here. So listen, let me tell you, the fastest way to become irrelevant in 2026. Um, and you might say to me, well, Dr. Geneva, do we have to talk about this? Should we be talking about this? Yes. The fastest way for you to become irrelevant in 2026 is when you keep treating your experience like something you need to explain, soften, or shrink down. And I'm talking to you, especially to my sisters over 50. Now, I've led organizations through high stakes change for decades. And I've watched brilliant women over 50 get overlooked for reasons that really have nothing to do with talent. And I hear it from women all the time who are over 50, who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s. You are doing the work, you are managing your teams, you are solving problems, you are the one people call when things go off track. And still, you feel like people look past you. Now, if you're feeling that way, that feeling is real. AARP has been talking about this for years. They point out that age bias at work is common, often subtle, and many workers over 50 say they see it or feel it. So if you've ever felt overlooked, you're not making it up. So here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to name 4 ways experienced women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond make unconsciously make themselves easier to overlook. Then I'm going to show you what repositioning your advantage looks like in 2026. Now, you're going to say to me, well, Dr. Geneva, you just said that, maybe we making ourselves irrelevant and maybe we're doing it unconsciously, but, and then you're going to show us how to reposition. And so it's our advantage. And that's the whole thing. That is that you really, if you in your 50s, 60s, 70s, you really are at an incredible advantage that you may not be aware of. So I'm going to show you what repositioning your advantage looks like in 2026, okay? If you're all ready for that, put ready in the chat. Now, I want you to understand this is not a motivational talk. This is a strategy talk. And if something hits home, type yes in the comments as we go along, because I want to feel like you're hearing me. And this teaching that I come on every week, every Wednesday, 9:00, that this teaching has some value for you. Okay. And if any of you want to go deeper with me, you can always sign up for a next steps call where we can talk through some issues and see whether or not we're fit to work together. Now, here's the real problem that I see. Most career advice for women over 50 sounds something like this: catch up, learn the new tools, be more visible, speak up more. And the way it's said makes it sound like you the one that's behind. Well, you're not behind. You have led through recessions, mergers, family messes, leadership changes, budget cuts, child drama, and crises nobody saw coming. You know how to read a room. You do. And you know how to make decisions with incomplete information. You know how to lead people through uncertainty. And, this is not something you picked up from a weekend course or a cute LinkedIn post. But if you keep minimizing that advantage, the workplace will treat it like it does not exist. Yeah. So let me give you a quick example. You're in a meeting, you offer a really good idea. It gets ignored. And it's funny because this happens all the time. I was just in a meeting yesterday where this happened. So you lay out this idea and it's really good, but nobody really reacts to it. 5 minutes later, someone else says basically the same idea. Everybody loves it and talks about what a great idea it is. Now, that moment usually is not about the idea. It's about who the people in the room are trained to listen to. Now stay with me for a moment, okay? Because society teaches us, um, uh, society tells us who's in their prime, who's in the know. It has these standards and expectations and views and perceptions about that. And women over 50 or in there, 62 or 64, oftentimes are viewed as what? What are we talking about today? Can be viewed as irrelevant. That's because we know we're dealing with the double thing if you're a woman and you're 63. Okay? Ageism and your gender. So the people, society trains the people in the room about who they should listen to. Now, here's the thing. And that's what I want you, if nothing else, to take with you. We can change that. We can change those views and perceptions. Okay. So let's spend just a moment talking. Well, Dr. Geneva, why are you talking about this right now, right here, right now? Because there's some things that are different about 2026. Work is being redesigned and it's moving fast. People are being judged on speed, clarity, and visibility. And AI is a part of that shift. And that's one of the reasons it's happening. And research and real workplace experience both say the same thing. Age bias is real, and AI is changing how speed and visibility are judged. Okay. So let me tell you. So women are not too old to learn. So for those of you who are saying, well, Dr. Geneva, maybe I'm just too old. I've aged out. No, here's something that I've learned. Women, we can learn quickly when we decide it matters. And the real question is really this. Are you going to make the moves that will position your experience as the foundation for your next move? Or are you going to keep acting like you are starting over from scratch? Okay? Like you don't have tons and lots of experiences and things you've been through. Because you see, once you combine your years of judgment and wisdom with modern stuff that's going on, you become hard to ignore. So you walk in with an advantage. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard women say, be fearful about midlife, being in their 50s or 60s, feeling that, they're out of it and that they're going to be irrelevant. So I want to give you 4 patterns, 4 ways that if you're a woman in your 50s, 60s, or 70s, that you perhaps unconsciously make yourself easier to overlook. Now, let me start off so I can say this so everybody can hear me real clear. These are not personal flaws. These are habits, some of them career habits, and they just cost you influence. If you see yourself in one of these, don't beat yourself up. Just get honest and let's make a move. And you can always have a call with me and we can talk through that. Because again, you ain't behind and you're not flawed. These are things that you can do something about. You can choose, you can design. Okay, so let's look at these patterns that happen that perhaps we unconsciously don't know about. Pattern number 1, opting out of the tools that make everyone else look faster. So this is the "I don't do tech" line. You've heard it. Maybe you've even said it. Let me be real for a second. The workplace, wherever you're working, does not care if we like the tools. The tools are here. That's the reality. And the people using them look faster, even when they are not more capable, just because they know how to use them tools. Okay? So think about it. So here's what that looks like. An example. You get asked for a first draft of something by the end of the day. Someone else uses AI to create a clean draft in 15 minutes, then edits it with their judgment, their brain. They turn it in early. They look sharp. They get remembered. You spend 3 hours writing from scratch. Now you turn it in on time, but you get no credit for the effort. But you see, the issue is not that you are slow. The issue is that you are not using, perhaps refusing, a tool that would let you combine your judgment with tech to move faster. Okay? Because it's a given you got the wisdom. It's a given you've got the experience. It's a given you are capable. All I'm saying to you is take all that and hook it up with the tech too. And listen, and I'm going to say this with love, refusing modern tools signals you're opting out of the way work gets done now. Okay? All right? Pattern number 2, ways that perhaps we're unconsciously putting ourselves in a position of being overlooked, is staying good at what you already know. Okay, let me break this down. So I was doing some research, and the World Economic Forum says on average, 39% of skills are expected to change by 2030. 2030 right around the corner. Now listen, you do not need to panic, but you do need a plan for that. Now, here's what happens when you don't have one. You keep doing what you do well. Hey, beautiful thing. You master your lane. But you stop learning beyond it. You become the person leadership can count on for that one thing, but not for growth, strategy, or new challenges. And you stop getting picked for stretch roles. You stop getting invited to strategy conversations because you're reliable. And reliability can quietly turn into, well, we're going to keep her right there. She does that one thing well. Okay. And here's the part that oftentimes people do not say out loud. When layoffs come, reliability, being reliable without visible growth, starts to look replaceable. Now, I know that's not fair, but it is real. Pattern number 3 that we perhaps unconsciously are doing that keeps us irrelevant is downplaying your experience. Now, this is the I'll just support habit. And this is where a lot of women lose ground because you see, if you do not name your value, someone else will name it for you, and they will name it smaller. Okay, y'all know what I'm saying. Here's an example. You lead a whole project behind the scenes. Then in a meeting, you say, oh, I just helped out a little. Now the room believes you helped out a little. And when the promotion conversation happens, let me tell you, when that promotion conversation happens, your name just does not come up. You downplaying what you did. Here's another example. A younger colleague gets tapped to lead the initiative you've been running for 2-3 years. Why? Okay, hear me on this one. Because they talked about vision. And every time you turn around, they're talking about vision. And they really laid it out in the last all staff meeting. You talked about execution. How you going to do it? How you going to implement it? Let me tell you, vision gets visibility. People get turned on by listening to and hearing what's possible, the opportunity, the dream, the vision. Execution or implementation gets taken for granted. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Somebody will do it. It'll get done. Okay. And so I want to be clear on this. You can be, hear me now, you can be the reason the work succeeds and still be treated like you are not strategic. This is what happens when you stay in the background too long. So let me hear what y'all think about. Put some comments in the chat. Let me know if you get that. You want me to dive deeper into that explanation, but it's real deal. Now, pattern number 4, which this may be a pattern that you do and that women unconsciously in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond do that might be helping to keep them overlooked, is working heads down and invisible. This mindset, this is the mindset. My work speaks for itself. Now, y'all probably said that or know somebody who said it, etc. And I know as I was raised as a young girl, I always heard that. Now, I didn't really hear it all the time for my male cousins or the guy, the boys in shop class or what have you. But all the girls, all the little girls, we used to hear that all the time. My parents, people would tell you, do your work, because your work's going to speak for yourself. It's going to speak for itself. And you know what? It should. It should. But in many workplaces, work does not speak. People do. Uh-huh. And here's what that looks like. A new opportunity comes up, a high visibility assignment. People think of the names they hear often, the names they see, the faces they recognize, the names they trust in public. If you are silent all the time, you are not in or on their quick mental list. Then you get frustrated. You think, I've been here longer. I know this work better. And you're right. And you're still not getting picked. Okay. So let's do a quick check-in. What pattern hits the most right now for you? If it's the tools pattern, put a 1. If it's the skills, let's do a 2. It might be a 3 for downplaying your experience, or perhaps this last one we talked about for visibility. Let's put a 4 in that. So if any of the patterns that you recognize or you see, you understand, or you might be, into it yourself, that pattern. And again, this ain't no problem now. We ain't into no blame, and it's okay because these are not personal flaws. These are patterns we get into for all kinds of reasons. Oftentimes, number one, because that's how society judges and how society lays things out. But the bottom line is that you can change that. You can design something different. And so let's talk about, now that you see and understand those patterns that in fact can function to make you invisible, overlooked. Let's flip that and let's look at what your advantage, or at least repositioning your advantage, looks like in 2026. 4 strategies I'm going to leave you. I want you to write these down so that you remember them and you can use them for 2026. Number 1, be AI literate, not an AI expert. Okay. You do not need to become a prompt engineer. AI doesn't replace your brain. It gives you options so you can make the decision faster with your experience, your judgment, your wisdom intact. Okay? Use it as a tool. Here's an example. Instead of staring at a blank screen, you can tell an AI tool, give me 3 ways to respond to this email that pushes back professionally without burning or upsetting the relationship. Okay? So you got to write this email, something's come up, and you got to do it rather than sitting and, trying to figure out what to do, or even worse, not deal with it. You can ask AI to kind of give you some suggestions. Then you choose what is the best one, what sounds like you, and make it sound like you. And this is what AI is for. It does not think for you. It gives you options. You bring the judgment. Okay. The second strategy that I want you to put down on your paper and can be used to reposition your advantage in 2026 is to lead with outcomes, not effort. This is about how you talk about your work. Okay. So I want you to stop giving reports or, reporting out that end with, so yeah, that's what I've been working on. No, I don't want you to say that. I want you to be specific. You have your conversation uh, about the outcomes. What's the decision? What is the risk? What is the next step? You with me? Let me give an example. So the old way of doing this might be, I've been looking into the vendor options, the options we have for a vendor, and there's a lot to consider. Okay. The new way that I want you to do it when you're giving a report out is I want you to take the next steps to get outcomes. So it would be, my recommendation is vendor B. Why? Is a lower cost, faster start, and they've done this in our industry. I need a decision by Friday to lock in the first quarter pricing. You see, the old way sounds like support. This new way sounds like strategy. Sounds like a strategist talking. Another example, I've been talking to a few community partners about the youth program and gathering their input. And that's cool. And that's okay. That's a great way to give out a report to your board chair or to your board. My recommendation for 2026 and beyond is that instead you say, my recommendation is we partner with the Boys and Girls Club. They have the facilities, they have the track record, and they're already serving 200 of the families we want to reach. I need board approval by next week so we can launch before summer. One response, the first response, sounds like you're coordinating. The second response sounds like you're leading. You see the difference we're talking here? So that you're not just reporting out, but you're saying the situation, talking about the situation, and taking that next step with, here's what we need to do. Here's the outcome that we need to get. Here's the outcome I'm looking for. Okay? So you don't come in and just leave it sitting there. Okay? All right. Number 3, strategy for repositioning and what your advantage could look like in 2026 if you do. And that is be visible on purpose. So you want to be intentional and you want to be purposeful. Now, I'm not talking about posting every day. Maybe one simple visibility habit. Maybe when you post, you would share your point of view, that you just wouldn't just comment. Although it's great to comment and comment on other people's perspective. All that's great. But what I'm suggesting for you is that you step out with your point of view. Like you would say, this is what I'm seeing in leadership right now. Teams are moving faster, but not with the clarity they need. The leaders who win in 2026, da, 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 da. Okay? And so that you're very clear, you're not bragging, but you're expressing your point of view, and you're in a leadership moment, you're in a leadership presence, so that you're being visible, you're thinking about your visibility with intention. Okay. And the fourth strategy that can help you reposition your advantage in 2026, and you notice that these are strategies that assume you have an advantage. And that's the whole thesis of this conversation and all the conversations I have with you, that if you are a woman in midlife, you've got an advantage going in because you've been through some stuff. Okay. You've done that. And so as you get to that point where, which is natural in midlife, to question yourself, wonder how you can stay relevant, um, how you can not be overlooked because of your age or your gender. These strategies build on, leverage your assumed advantage. Okay. It's important for you to understand that concept. So you're building on what you already got. So this fourth way is to what I call stretch on purpose. So that you pick one area where you want to be known as the go-to person, and then take one stretch step. And I want you to do this in the next 30 days or so. So you lead a meeting you usually just attend. You volunteer to pilot the new initiative. You speak up and volunteer for a strategy role, not just execution work, not just the implementation. And here's the sentence that you can use: I can do that, and I also want to lead the planning phase. Okay. So in other words, you're given an assignment, or there's an assignment, you say, yeah, I can do that. And I also want to do something else that's a stretch. Okay. This is very simple, but powerful, powerful. This is that stretch. When I was coming along in my career, my team used to know me by, okay, whatever we do, she gonna want to go the next level. Mm-hmm. So we'd celebrate, and then for a moment, but then it was always about what's the next level? How can we help more people? How can we have more impact? How can we make a difference? So this stretching is something that works for us in midlife and is repositioning, because you're naming your capacity. I mean, you're saying, well, yes, I can do this, and I also want to do that. So you are in control, and you're naming what you can do and will do it, and you're stepping into it. So those are the patterns, as well as how you can reposition the patterns that we fall into. And I just want you to understand that in 2026, relevance is not an accident. It's built. You can build it and you can protect it. And it is shown. It is shown by the actions we take. And the midlife women leaders who stay relevant are not the ones who apologize for their experiences, for their experience that they have. They are the ones who position it as the advantage it is. So if you've been feeling overlooked, you do not need a personality transplant. You need a clear strategy, visible leadership, and a few modern habits sprinkled in that help you make you see your value, and so that you can do that. And of course, if you're ready to map that, to do that, give me a call. I offer a 30-minute next steps call, which is free, and we look at where you are, where you want to be. Um, and I talk through some moves that you can make right away. And then we talk about whether we are fit to work together after that. And so remember, in 2026, you, in fact, can design your next moves. So I want you to comment next, NEXT, if you want to have that conversation with me. And I believe the link is QR code or going along the screen. Comment next if you want to talk about how to stay relevant, the things that you can do for 2026, because in fact, we can do that and get you scheduled into that conversation. Because, and the reason I came to talk to you about this today, because I see too many women are being treated like background when they hit 50s, 60s, when they should be part, continue to be part of the decision making process. And we, in fact, are the future women in our 50s. Okay, so that's the lesson. That's what I wanted to talk with. That's what I wanted you to pull out your paper and pencil on. And we have time for perhaps one or two questions or comments. It's so good to have all of you here, and thank you for getting into this today, whether you're here live or on the replay. Emlyn, how are you? I see you ready. Okay, I love it. I love it. So listen, if any of you want to DM me next so that we can talk further about this subject, and wherever you are in midlife, let's do that. Let me pick one quick question. Okay, what do you do when younger colleagues get credit for ideas you've been sharing for years? Well, much of what I talked about dealt with that. You got to know that that's life. That is what will happen. We know that happens. The strategies that I identify, doesn't matter if it's a younger colleague or another colleague or a male colleague, it really doesn't matter. What matters is what you do. I even now will say, I just had, like I said, an example yesterday um, where I had put out an idea and somebody else said the same idea a couple minutes later, someone younger. And so I let time pass just a little. And then I said, I am so glad you picked up on my idea that I just said about 10 minutes ago. And what I think we need to do next is, and that is one way to deal with it, where you put it right out there. Because so often people react unconsciously. Okay. Because as I said, people are trained in the room. We know ageism and sexism exist in the room, in the workplace, in society. We know that. So these kinds of things that happen are not unusual and should not surprise us. What we need to do is be prepared to deal with it. So if we know it's going to happen, what are some, and you can practice. What I used to do is write down 2 or 3 sentences or ways I could respond when that would happen in a meeting. And it would happen through my career all the time, because most of my career, I was in rooms where no one looked like me. And breaking those ceilings and those glass ceilings has been all part of my career. And so I would actually practice 3 or 5 sentences that I could say. And I would say them and I would rehearse them and repeat them. So then when the situation arose, which it always did, I could say it. I could articulate it. This is another thing that you could use AI for too. You could go into a tool and say, too many times I'm in a room and I give ideas and then I hear them 10 minutes later from somebody else. What are some of the responses I could make? Or what are some of the things I could say? And AI could give you a whole lot of different suggestions. And of course, you pick what works for you. It's just a tool. So I hope that was helpful. And that's all the time that we have. So I want to wish everyone happy holidays. Enjoy, whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa. I wish you the very, very best of this holiday season and look forward to the next steps. I've got some big surprises for you in 2026. I am so excited about it. I can't wait. I talked with my producer. I kept saying to Karina, oh my gosh, I want to talk about it, but we got to wait. I'm so excited. But check me out very soon. I've got some great stuff coming for you. Have a happy one. Thank you all for joining. Everyone on LinkedIn, YouTube, IG, TikTok. Mwah. Extraordinary Women Influencers. That's my group on Facebook. Come and join us. See ya. Have a happy one.